I'm a newer agent with not a lot of resources. Based on your experience, what are the things I should be focusing on to start generating some leads or conversation?
Well, that's a good question. And I have to tell you, I'd probably follow the same direction that I did 27 years ago. And that's what I would recommend to a new agent, which is probably a little bit different than the norm. Most agents and most advice that these new agents are getting, I believe, would be to reach out to their sphere of influence and things like that, which is a good idea. But that being said, as a young 20-year-old, starting out in the business 27 years ago, one of the best things I ever did, and it was a little different than a lot of agents in my office who were very successful as well, but I started with my geographic farm because I was a young 20-year-old. So not a lot of people in my sphere were buying and selling real estate yet. They were almost there, but they weren't quite there yet. So I went knocking on doors in my own neighborhood where I bought my first home. I had just turned 21. And basically, I knocked on the neighbors' doors. I met them and I said, I live right down the street. I just bought in this area. And I realized you may have bought your home for different reasons than other people have. But obviously, we both purchased in this neighborhood for a reason. So if you're open to offers, would you please let me know before you let anybody else know? And here's the key is obviously that's just conversation, Jeff, that we were having. That's just a conversation starter. This is who I am. This is where I live. And obviously a connection is we live in the same neighborhood. But to kind of close that without closing it, I would say, and who better to get you the most money than somebody who lives in the neighborhood, because I have a selfish reason to get you the most money. The more I get you, the more my own home is worth. And I'll tell you, it caught fire. It was just a 300 home neighborhood. And all of a sudden, I listed one, got it sold, listed two more, got them sold, listed a few around the block, got them sold. And my name started growing because of that pitch there, because of that angle there. Again, most agents start out with their sphere of influence. Mine wasn't quite there yet at 20, 21 years old. So I took the angle that I have a selfish reason to get you the most money for your home, because the more I get you, the more my own home is worth. So that's the advice that I would give an agent today starting out. And it's not wrong, but it's probably different than what most agents are getting, because I think most of them are getting, go talk to your sphere of influence, post on Facebook, post on it, Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. And that's all good as well. In fact, you should, I think, mix that in with going after the geographic farm. But the number one best thing I ever did was start out with my geographic farm.
Hey, that's fantastic. And what was your follow-up like after, you spoke to somebody face to face?
And again, one of the important parts of your question was, I believe you said, what would your advice be to a new agent starting out with very little or no money? So yeah. That was me. That was me. I had like maybe $1,000 to my name when I was 21 years old. So my follow-up, after I went and manually took my time and knocked on the doors and had a genuine conversation with people, I would then do my own lawn. So every time I was out cutting my own lawn or raking or whatever, anytime someone drove by, it's so easy to just raise your hand and wave. Hi, you don't have to even talk to them. But then even if they didn't see you initially, they might say, who was that person waving? Oh, that's Carlo. That's that agent that knocked on my door the other day. That's free. So now, walking the dogs. You see somebody out, how's it going? You don't have to talk. You don't have to stop and talk to them. If they want to, of course you would. But you can just say, hi, how's it going? And keep walking. Now they maybe saw you cutting your grass. Hey, who's that guy waving? Oh, that's Carlo. Now they maybe saw you walking the dogs. Oh, there's Carlo again. And I had a mortgage guy that printed up a ton of flyers for me. And then he even went so far as to invest in 1,000 trifold brochures for me with our information on it, not just mine, but his. And he called the neighborhood with his database, his information. But then also, if he got any leads, he'd pass them to me since they were in that neighborhood. But also, it was another reason for me to go back around, and whether they were home or not, put that trifold brochure in their door. It didn't cost me any postage. I was in the neighborhood anyway, so I didn't go out of my way. Like, I didn't go drive a half hour one way to go get to a potential listing. I was there anyway. And it was when I didn't have an appointment somewhere else, or I wasn't doing something else, or I wasn't cutting the grass, or I wasn't walking my dog. I was walking around passing out flyers the first few months. Then I got a sale.